Hello my lovelies, welcome back to my channel. Sorry I've been missing in action this week. I haven't been very well. Still not 100%, but I knew I had to get something out to show you lovely people that I have just been doing little things this week. And one of the little things I've been doing is this tab binding little journal made out of greeting cards. So let's start with the hairband tire, a little fabric flower that I folded in halves and put some diamantes to make him have a nice little pretty flowered collar, or a floral beard, whatever you like to call it. I'm just calling it a closure, something to hold it together with. Okay, pretty pink paper. There's the design, and I've matted it with yellow to match up with the cards inside, and the little owl, and I put some glitter glue, Kindy Glitz I've got here in Australia, so that's what I use to do his little eyes. Takes a little while to dry, but it's so worth it. Okay, turning over, I've embossed a piece of card to put in there to tie it all in, and this is the first card. I made a little series of cards using the Tim Holtz vintage dolls, and I thought, what am I going to do with them? Because I make cards on a regular basis, and every now and then I get stuck as to say, okay, what are you going to do? How are you going to do it? Where are you going to stash them? And I came up with this wonderful idea after having done my tab journal, the bigger one before that I showed you, and the lady that showed us also described how to put cards in here, so that if you've got a stack of greeting cards that you really love and you want to keep them safe, you can join them together using this tab binding, and you're able to open up the card and read what's inside. I chose to put a little piece of paper inside each card so that it becomes a writing journal. And I've put stickers on this side opposite the photograph. So there's a little doily, a doily, and the stand-up creatures. People, sorry. More paper for journaling. I found these in, where was I? I can't remember what shop I was in, sorry. But I found this packet of little heart doilies and I fell in love with them, so they will be featuring quite a lot from now on. So I'm calling this father and daughter. And yes, I deviated from the yellow because I didn't think I'd have enough of the yellow. I put on the designer paper there and a tag that I'd made previously. It's really nice being able to use some of the things that I have in my stash to, get them into a project. It's just lovely. It's thinning out my stash. I'm not having to buy a lot to add to it, so that's really fantastic for me. Oh, this one didn't glue right. Oh, I see, it's buckled in the center. Not much I can do about that right now, I'm afraid. And that saying I thought was just so appropriate, love you to the moon and back. A lovely vintage wedding. Oh, crackle. And another tag that somebody can write on, and my lovely embossed thing. Now I think that embossing was an old Sizzix one that I had, so hold it out and there's the back of it. Now let me just put sorry, I bumped the tripod then, I hope it didn't unsettle you too much. And there we are. Here's my bearded, I'm going to call this the Bearded Owl Journal, because it does look like a little beard on him. Okay, thank you very much. There's one more thing I want to show you, and I'll do that on this video too to make it just that little bit longer. I have been busy making mini envelopes. They are so darn cute. I'm just going to get out a little journal that I've been working on. Now, these you can make out of scraps of paper. They are just so quick and easy to do. You don't have to be a genius to do them. You can make them any size, like I've done the little one, and then I've done a couple of big ones, the intermediate ones. You can make them whatever size. I've even done a couple of squares. But they are just so simple. I'll get a piece of paper out of my stash, out of my little hoard, and show you how easy they are. That needs to be fairly thin paper. It can't be too thick, because otherwise you end up, oh, that might do. Yep, that'll do. Okay, now, my cutter. And I'm going to make this 1.5 inches wide. You can even make an envelope out of that little piece. Now let me just move them over there. See, this was a piece of magazine paper that I did. It had a pretty pattern on one side and the lovely writing on the other, so I've just married it all together. It's really quite simple. Now all you do is fold that top in half and just pinch it so you know where the middle is. That does leave a nice little crease there, you can see it. So I line up my fingernail with that, fold over that tab so that it's square, and I do use my bone folder. You don't have to, because these are so small, but I like to get a nice crisp finish, and I'm running out of fine motor control. Now, I turn this over to the back and crease it down, then fold it back over. Whilst it's not perfectly straight and perfectly in the middle, it's still okay. And then you can make this a totally green envelope like that, but it's going to blend together so much, so I don't like to do that. So I'll fold it up a little bit like this. Crease that down again. That is so crooked, it's not funny. Let's try that again, Ruth. I think it's a little bit better, but not terribly much. I cut off the back there, and that gives me another envelope. So now, to finish it off, you don't need very much glue. Just a little bit on the, when this deigns to come down to the end of the nozzle, that would be good. Just a little thin bead along the sides and along the top. And that will close off that part of the envelope. These are not functioning envelopes, as in you can put a little note in. You could if you left it open, but it defeats the purpose of what I'm doing these for. Now just a little dab of glue down there and a little bit down the center. So it is that simple. So simple. Now let me see if I can do another one, but make it square this time. Make it a little bit better. And this time I'm going to reverse it so that we're going to end up with a white piece at the top. Fold it over. This this isn't quite going to be big enough. So I'm just going to cut off the last little piece there, and that's the only piece that's going in the bin. I could put it on a collage paper, but I don't have one prepared at the moment. Now a little bit of glue in the corner and in that corner, and then just a little bit of glue, not right up to the peak, because otherwise it's going to dribble out. Now I sat here for just an hour or so making all of those others. They're so quick and so easy, and they look so effective when put into a journal in the shape of a cluster. Now, let me show you what I'm talking about. I'll just pop these back into my little container. Such a sweet little container. I was a couple of years ago trying to organize my stuff and buying different size containers to fit things into, and I thought I'd order bigger ones, but I got half a dozen or so of these littlies. And whilst they were a pain in the you-know-what, I've now purposed them for using all sorts of things. And I'll show you in another video what I've been up to building a little unit to put these into. Now I'll just pop those up there. Now, this is what I mean about a cluster. Let me hold that up a little bit. You can see I've poked an envelope into that part of that one and there and all that. And it just sort of fits together. It looks stunning, and I can't imagine life without these now. They're just so cool. And they hold tags, as you can see. They'll hold anything, your journaling cards, tags, bits of paper, whatever. And they're all glued together, so it's so simple. I won't use those two now because they'll be a bit dry. They're a bit wet still. But you just poke an envelope into there, and this one's the same, but I'll still use it anyway. This is only demonstration purposes. And another little one up there, and then you start building down. Well, this is my take on it. Now that's going to hide that little one, so I'm going to take that out and pop it in there so that it can be seen. And I'll just put this one here underneath there. And you can make it as wide or as long as you want, just by continuing to poke your envelopes in to make that lovely little cluster. Okay, that's the other little thing I've been working on. Nothing outstanding, nothing terribly important, just enough to say that yes, I have done a little bit of craft this week. I'll be back with my next video with the designer program for Scrimping Mummy. But for the moment, that's it, folks. That's it for now. I'm going to love and leave you with these thoughts. Take care, keep crafting, love you heaps. Bye.